यन्त्रारूढानि मायया ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशे अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशे अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord, Sarvabhutanam, of all living entities, Hriddeshe, in the location of the heart, Arjuna, O Arjuna, Tishtati, resides, Brahmayan, causing to travel, Sarvabhutani, all living entities, Yantra, on a machine, Arudhani, being placed, Mayaya, under the spell of material energy. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Arjuna was not the supreme knower, and his decision to fight or not to fight was confined to his limited discretion. Lord Krishna instructed that the individual is not all in all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, or He Himself, Krishna, as the localized Supersoul, sits in the heart directing the living being. After changing bodies, the living entity forgets his past deeds, but the Supersoul, as the knower of the past, present and future, remains the witness of all his activities. Therefore, all the activities of all living entities are directed by this Supersoul. The living entity gets what he deserves and is carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of the Supersoul. As soon as the living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. A person seated in a high speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car, though the living entities, the drivers may be the same. Similarly, by the order of the Supreme Soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity so that he may work according to his past desires. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender, and that is the injunction of the next verse. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. O skin of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. A living entity should therefore surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart, and that will relieve him from all kinds of miseries of this material existence. By such surrender, not only will one be released from all miseries in this life, but at the end he will reach the Supreme God. The transcendental world is described in the Vedic literature as Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. Since all of creation is the kingdom of God, everything material is actually spiritual. But Paramam Padam specifically refers to the eternal abode, which is called the spiritual sky or Vaikuntha. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Sarvasya Chaham Riddhi Sannivishtaha. The Lord is seated in everyone's heart. So, this recommendation that one should surrender unto the Supreme Soul, sitting within that means that one should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna has already been accepted by Arjuna as the Supreme. He was accepted in the 10th chapter as Param Brahma Param Dhama. Arjuna has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Supreme Abode of all living entities, not only because of his personal experience, but also because of the evidence of great authorities like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa. Om Ajnanatimirindasya Jnananjana Salakaya Tanyamano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Padati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakavitaschya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika He Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Nami Hari Chakritavapyascha Sindhupya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna When you read these two verses, what doubt you will get? Somebody should ask this question. What is the significance of these two verses?
Krishna is referring to Ishvara like Tat Prasad, that will be someone else sitting in your heart.
Very good. Very good. He is third person, he's addressing. Tameva Sharanam Gricha, surrender unto him. So, I don't know the scholarly explanation is there, some Sanskrit. I don't have the explanation right now, but somebody gave that. So, many times I told this, right? If somebody says, today afternoon I was reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada is explaining, Mayavadis, they explain that the soul and the super soul are one. They don't differentiate between the soul and the super soul. Prabhupada quoted Madhvacharya saying that anybody who constantly preaches that there is a difference between soul and the super soul, there are two, he becomes very dear to Lord Krishna. So, in Katopanishad, in Svetasvatara Upanishad, Manduka Upanishad, everywhere it is mentioned that there are two birds on the tree. You know this analogy? You know the analogy? Huh? You know? Say. No. On a tree there are two birds. You know? One bird is eating the fruits of the tree. Another bird is still simply watching. Right? And then this eating bird turns his head and looks at his friend, other bird who is simply witnessing. All his dukkha will go away. Now you know, there are two birds on a tree. One bird is simply eating, another bird is simply watching. When the other bird who is eating stops eating and turns his head towards his friend, other bird, all his dukkha will be vanished. The meaning is, the eating bird is the soul and the witnessing bird is the super soul. So what are we eating? What is the meaning of this analogy? Analogy is that we are all enjoying the fruits of this material world. When we stop enjoying and looks towards the super soul, then our dukkha will go away. Right? The root cause of our dukkha distress is, I want to enjoy separately from Krishna. Right? Many times I told this. How can you enjoy? How can you enjoy in this world or any outer world? You can enjoy with Krishna. With Krishna. But we want to enjoy like Krishna. See, we can never be without Krishna. Suppose.
No, but we don't realize.
Yeah. I don't realize. So he is watching all our activities. He is our dearmost friend. Right? Dearmost friend. There are three Vishnus. Karanodakshai Vishnu. From his body, all the universes, they emanate. That is, he is the original super soul of all the universes. Right? And for each universe, there is a Garbha ocean. And this ocean fills the entire half of the universe with water. Garbha, this our universe is the smallest universe. That's our universe is the smallest universe. And this universe is filled with water half. It is called Garbha ocean. Half. On that ocean, there is a Vishnu. He is known as Garbhodaksai Vishnu. Garbha Udaka Sai Vishnu. He is the super soul of the universe, means this particular universe, where kan mein Bhagwan hai bolte hai na. So that Garbhodaksai Vishnu is present in all atoms. He is that universe like that. Then there is a milk ocean. In that ocean there is Vishnu. He is known as Kshirodaksai Vishnu. He is super soul in everybody's heart. Right? Janardana, Aniruddha. He is the super soul of all living entities. And then he comes, he stays in everybody's heart. And from him comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Forgetfulness also it comes. Lord Shiva says in Bhagavatam 24th chapter, 4th canto, Swarga Pavarga Dvaraya Nityam Suchisade Namaha Namo Hiranya Viryaya Chatruhotraya Tantave. He is the one who gives Swarga. He is the one who gives beyond Swarga, that is liberation. And then he lives in pure devotee's heart. Nityam Suchisade Namaha. So in Vishnu Purana, it is mentioned that Lord Vishnu stays in the hearts of pure devotees very comfortably, like Prahlad Maharaj. What is the speciality of Prahlad Maharaj? He has equal vision. What is meant by equal vision? Right? Equal vision means he sees super soul in everybody's heart. That is equal vision. So Vishnu Purana, it is mentioned in the section that Lord Vishnu stays very comfortably and happily in the heart of pure devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, who is free from envy, hatred, selfishness, attachment, anger. When our heart is completely pure, and in that particular heart, the Lord stays very comfortably. But in our heart, He stays as if He is sleeping on the bed of thorns. So we have to make our bed as a bed of roses. You know, bed of roses, like that. It is.
What is the bed of consciousness or the low that
Yeah. So we should make the super soul in the heart very comfortable by removing the dirt from our heart. And it is mentioned in first canto, second chapter, Dharma Projita Kaitavo Atra Paramo Nirmat Sharanam Satam Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Shivadam Tapatri Unmulanam Shrimad Bhagavatam Mahamani Krute Kimvapra Ishvara Sadyo Hridi Avarudyate Sushrubish Tat Kshanat. It is mentioned that Tat Kshanat means a person who is reciting Bhagavatam every day. What will happen?
Rajatama slowly
A person who hears Bhagavatam every day, what will Krishna do to that person? Right? So one who hears Bhagavatam every day, for such a person, the Lord Krishna, two-handed. Now we have, Paramatma, Janardana, is called Janardana. He is situated in our heart, right to the soul, right side of the soul, right to our left side. Here the soul is there, and right side super soul is there. Right? Then evam svachitte swatayeva siddha atma priyarto bhagavan anantaha tam nivruto niyatarto bhajeta samsar hetu paramamshayatra. Evam svachitte swatayeva siddha atma priya. In order to do good to the soul, atma priya, the super soul comes and sits in the heart of every soul, everybody. Evam svachitte swatayeva siddha atma priyarto bhagavan anantaha. Bhagavan is ananta. You know what is the definition of ananta? So that ananta, this world is covered with 7 layers. So many universes. So many universes dwell in some whose body he is called Ananta. So the Lord is sitting in everybody's heart. Kechis svadehantar hridayavakashe pradesh matram purusham vasantam. So he is actually 12, 9, 8, 8 inches, right? Or 12 inches. Angushta. 8 I think. 8 inches, of the measurement of our fingers. Right? That is the size of the super soul in our heart. So Nityam Suchisade Namaha. Such a person, when somebody starts hearing Bhagavatam, there is a difference between the people who are otherwise other people, in whose heart the super soul is sitting, but is completely neutral. Is completely neutral. Upadrashta Anumanta cha Varta Bhokta Maheshwaram Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehesmin Purusham Param. Upadrashta Anumanta. Right? He is the witness and he is the sanction giver. Bharta, maintainer. Bharta and maintainer. Bhokta, enjoyer. Maheshwaram, supreme controller. Right? Paramatme iti chapi ukta. He is known as Paramatma. Tehesmin Purusham Param. Right? It is mentioned that those who hear Bhagavatam every day, Krishna personally enters the heart of that person and pushes away super soul. And Krishna celebrates festivals. That is the glory of Bhagavatam. Tatshanat means, Vishwanath Chakravarti explains, he celebrates a festival. Oh, this person is hearing Bhagavatam. Then he enters the heart of such a person. And then in one hand flute, in another hand broom. Then he cleanses the heart. Sushil is hearing it, look like. He sent some message. Then what happens? When we keep on hearing Bhagavatam, then Krishna, Super Soul doesn't do all this cleaning process. He is only he is only witness and he is sanction giver. But when you hear Bhagavatam, then Krishna personally cleanses the heart. Shrunatam sva kada Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam. Bolo? Hridayantasto hi abhadrani Vidunoti Suhrit Satam. Right? Suhrit Satam. He is friend of all living entities. Anybody remembers? Mataji? What is the definition of Suhrit? A friend of yours who is thinking of your welfare 24 hours in a day. That is meant by Suhrit. Krishna is Suhrit. We have Mitra, we have Bandhu, but we don't have Suhrit. But Krishna is our Suhrit. 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 Nashtaprayesha Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Right. Ashtaprayash means थोड़ा बच जाता है contamination. Almost. Nashtaprayash means he cleanses the heart almost, still there, but contamination is still there. Then you are fixed. Then tada rajastamo bhava kamalobhadayaschaye chetayate ranaviddam sthitam sattve prasidati. Right? As long as we are under the influence of passion and ignorance, there will be lust and greed in our heart. Kama and lobha. Kama lobhada yaschi. But when we keep on hearing Bhagavatam, then Krishna keeps on cleaning the heart. Then we will become free from passion and ignorance. Then we will become free from lust and greed. That time we will be situated in the mode of goodness. Then once we are in mode of goodness, we will become very joyful. When we become joyful, then we can realize Krishna. Evam prasanna manaso. What is Evam prasanna manaso? Bhagavad tat. Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangha Sangasya Jayate. Then always remember, somebody asked Prabhupada what it means to be on a highest platform of consciousness. Prabhupada said, he will become fearless. Right? Then Prabhupada writes in 4th canto, 24th chapter, in order to perform devotional service, you have to be very joyful. In order to become joyful, you have to become fearless. Unless you are become fearless, you cannot become joyful. When will you become fearless?
When you surrender to Krishna.
Huh?
When you surrender to Krishna.
Yeah. When you see Krishna everywhere. If you see Prahlad Maharaj, he is completely fearless because he is seeing Krishna even in the stick that they are beating. They are beating with the stick, right? He is seeing Krishna in that stick. In 1971, Prabhupada was giving an interview to one journalist. At that time, 71 war started. War was going on. Delhi, Prabhupada was in Delhi at that time. And then suddenly there were sirens. And the journalist started shivering. Swamiji, do something. They started bombing. You are not afraid? Prabhupada said, no, I see Krishna in that bomb. Oh, Krishna. Right? If you see Krishna, then there is no fear. Because we see other things, second thing, other than Krishna, then that is why we become fearless. Dvitiya, Bhayam Dvitiya Abniveshata Syat. Bhayam Dvitiya Abniveshata. When we see two, if you see Krishna only everywhere, then we are not fearless, we become fearless. Right? So Prabhupada writes, that this Bhakti Yoga will give fearlessness to all of us. Right? So, this concept of super soul is very important. Super soul is always, we are getting directions from the super soul all the time. Right? There are two voices we always hear. One voice is from the mind, another voice is from the soul, super soul. We don't hear to the voice of the super soul, we hear to the voice of the mind. But right now, our mind is our enemy. So we should be able to distinguish between the voice of mind and the voice of the super soul. How do we distinguish? The super soul is always speaking welfare to all of us, giving guidance. But he doesn't force. He only gives advice. That's what we call inspiration. Inspiration. You know, there is one scientist, Gauss, Professor Gauss. There is an equation after his name, right? You know? Huh?
You had something Gauss theorem.
Yeah, Gauss theorem. He's, I think, French man. He was sitting once. He was trying to solve the problem. He was unable to solve the problem. And then one day he was sitting in a park. Then he got a inspiration flash in his heart. And then he produced that Gauss theory. So all these scientists, how do they get the ideas? It is coming from the super soul. The intelligence is given by the super soul. Because they work hard, they perform little austerity. So super soul gives them idea. Prabhupada was telling about himself. He was actually Prabhupada was very intelligent personality. Even in his youth, childhood, very intelligent. He was working in this Bengal chemicals or something like that. They offered him soul selling agency. Prabhupada was very intelligent. He was doing good business for them. They offered him soul selling agency to Prabhupada of Bengal or Calcutta, whatever. Prabhupada said, because I am very proud of my abilities, if I had taken up that agency, I would have become rich like Tata and Birla. Prabhupada told. But I became proud of my abilities. I offered such a high quote, I quoted such a high price that they have rejected. Then later on Prabhupada commented, because of the advice, the super soul has inspired me to quote such a high price, because the super soul did not want me to become very rich man. I would have forgotten Krishna. I would have not taken up this preaching work. Because my Guru Maharaj wanted me to take up this preaching work, not get into business. Yeah, आ जाते हैं. Krishna went as a Shanti Duta. Then he advised Duryodhan, he advised Dhritarashtra. What is your prastav? They asked, why did you come? What is the prastav? What is your proposal? Krishna said, Yudhishthira Maharaj did not say anything specifically, but whatever I have decided, they will agree. They will agree. Then he said, war is not good for anyway. Then if at all you don't want to give half of the kingdom, at least give 5 villages. दुर्योधन ने क्या बोला? Then Krishna said, युद्ध निश्चय है, war will happen. Pandavas are not going to sit. Because Dhritarashtra sent a message, be satisfied, you are already accustomed to begging. Then Duryodhan, while Krishna was going away, Duryodhan told, I know what is dharma, I know what is adharma. But my mind is not attracted to dharma only, at all. My mind is attracted always to adharma only. I feel as if somebody is sitting in my heart and forcing me to act irreligiously. This is a very famous quote from Mahabharata. Who is that person who is sitting in the heart of Duryodhana? He recognized. This is a very famous verse from Mahabharata. One of the Kuta shlokas of Mahabharata. We should be able to make friendship with the super soul. Able to hear the voice of the super soul. Purify the heart. Once I had many experiences with the super soul guiding me. Once in the beginning of my days, while I was going to BI, I was coming from outside at that time. I was going to BI. I was in touch with Rasraj Prabhu, Kapil Prabhu and all that. Once Rasraj Prabhu, he had a ticket by British Airways to America. This is 1991. I had to go to British Airways, cancel the ticket, and then that is in Colaba. And Go to Churchgate, there is AK Travels. Book a fresh ticket. I thought first I will book a ticket in AK Travels, and then go to British Airways and cancel the ticket. I was sitting, I was waiting. I had to reach by before 5 o'clock, I had to cancel the ticket. Otherwise, we would forfeit the ticket. Foolishly waiting in AK Travels, suddenly Awaj came from the Super Soul. Sivaram, go to British Airways first and cancel the ticket. I got up as if in a trance, went out. Usually South Indians, very conjuice, Brahmin, we don't travel in rickshaws and taxis, meter reading, heart palpitation बढ़ जाता है. Bus travelers only. But that day, without being confused, I sat in the taxi, went. Just 5 minutes before they are closing, I went. Cancelled the ticket and got the money. Many times, Super Soul guided me, in such things. Once I was sitting in the bus, and I had this habit of keeping the hand outside. I had kept my hand, and then suddenly Super Soul told me, Sivaram, take out the hand, bus is going to hit. Still, little bit it hit, thoda injure ho gaya tha. There was some mark also. Many instances I have. If you observe, sometimes I'm walking and the Super Soul guides, there is a kadda, don't put your step. Like that. On the 17th day, Karna was fighting very ferociously with Arjuna. Then Krishna told Arjuna, this man, you have to use Divya Astras against him. He is not an easy fighter to fight with. So Arjuna started using Divyastras. Then Karna wanted to also use Divyastras. Salya was actually taunting him all the time. Then he took a Brahmastra. He wanted to chant that mantra, Brahmastra. Even though I have been chanting 96 Gayatri mantra, if I don't concentrate properly, I forget, then again I have to start chanting that mantra. Sometimes very regular shlokas only we forget while quoting lines. He forgot Brahmastra mantra. Blank ho gaya. So Salya was observing. So Karna said, I am forgetting. Spurti mein nahi aa raha hai. Then Salya told one very famous dialogue, Mahabharata. How can you have Spurti? The Spurti is an Arjuna's Rath. Right? Spurti is an Arjuna's Rath. Like that. Yeah. Krishna would make, Karna forget all his mantras. How many of you remember the story of Gadodgaja killing? You remember? हाँ? कितने बार बोला होगा मैं? You remember Gadodgaja's killing? Tell.
No, Karna had only one Brahmastra, so he was going to use it against Arjuna.
Shakti weapon.
Shakti weapon. He was going to use it against Arjuna.
Karna had one astra. He wanted to use only for Arjuna.
Indra gave.
But then little bit ready to use that.
Anyway, Karna was born with Kavach Kundal, Sahaja Kavach Kundal. So as long as he was wearing that Sahaja Kavach Kundal, nobody can kill him because he is protected by armor. Indra's son was Arjuna. Surya's son was Karna. So Indra wanted to help his son because Nirnayak Yudh hoga dono ko beech mein. But if Karna is having Kavach Kundal, how would Arjuna kill him? That's why he made a plan. Because Karna had a vow that 12 o'clock in the afternoon, if anybody comes and asks for charity, he will not say no. Because he does Surya Puja at that time. Then Surya Dev came and warned Karna that tomorrow Indra is going to come in the form of a Brahmana. He will ask for Kavach Kundal, you don't give him. So Karna laughed. He said, Sachipati आके भीख मांगेगा मैं ना बोलूँगा. How can I go back on my vow? But anyway, Suryadev said, at least ask him Shakti weapon from him in return. Then Indra came and asked in the form of a Brahmana. Then Karna cut off the Sahaj Kavach Kundal and gave him all the blood and all cut off. Then he said, I know who you are. Give me Shakti weapon. I will use it for kill Arjuna. Amugvan. But Indra said, you can use it only once. Then it will come back to me. Every day, one more time, during Kandavan Dahan, there was everybody was killed, but a few people were saved. Out of them, one snake family was there. Entire snake family got killed. But one snake got escaped. Then he was actually nursing revenge against Arjuna. Right? He became a astra and went to Karna that use me against Arjuna for killing him because I want to take revenge. These two astras every day he was worshipping Karna. One is Nagastra, another is Shakti weapon. They are very amog, Amogaman. So one day Gadodgaj entered the war field and then he was killing so many Akshanis. Duryodhan was defeated, Karna was defeated. So Duryodhana was defeated, Dronacharya was defeated, everybody got injured, blood was flowing from everybody's body. Especially Duryodhana was raktashikt ho gaya. Pura blood was flowing from his body. So he went, Dronacharya suggested, you tell your friend to kill Gatotgaj using the Shaktiman. Karna said, I can't because I kept it for using it against Arjuna. I said, what? What is the use of you killing Arjuna? Today I am going to be killed. Today war is going to be finished. Then somehow or other, unwillingly he used that Shakti weapon to kill Gatotkaja. And then Gatotkaja fell and died. At that time Krishna was rejoicing. He was jumping joyfully on the chariot. So Bhima was very upset. Vasudev, because Gatotkaja was the son of Bhimsen. Why you are celebrating? My son was killed. Then he said, yes, because I gave word to my mother, your mother Kunti, that I will bring back Arjuna very safely. But ever since I gave that promise, I have a constant worry how to save Arjuna from Shakti Band of Karna. So every day, then in the camp, the discussion was there that why Karna did not use this weapon all these days. He entered the war on 10th day, 11th day. He could have used on any of these days. So it was mentioned that Krishna said, sitting in his heart, so every day Karna would think, today I will use Shakti weapon and kill Arjuna. But as soon as he would enter the battlefield, Krishna would make him forget. So sitting in his heart, I would make him forget. Then evening he would go and Shakti weapon use nahi kiya, kal karega. And then again kal. Now I am very relieved because this Gatotkaja is a very dangerous demon. If he is not killed today, I would have to take incarnation again, one more incarnation to kill this guy. Very dangerous if he is alive. So one shot, two birds. Do benefit ho gaya. Like that, Krishna is sitting in everybody's heart, inspiring. So we should, that is why book distributors, when we are preaching and all, we should pray to the super soul in the other person's heart. My dear Lord, please inspire him to take a book. Unless the Lord in the heart inspires that person, take the book, he won't take. So that is why when we are preaching, we should not take credit. It's not our credit, it is Krishna's grace that that person has taken. So that is the technique of our preaching. Pray to the super soul in the other person's heart. My dear Lord, you are sitting in everybody's heart. Please inspire him to take that book. We go to so many people for ask for money. Krishna doesn't inspire everybody to give money. But for some people Krishna inspires. Then they come on their own and if you take Prabhuji. Like that, the super soul is sitting in our heart and then guiding all of us. So Krishna is telling, surrender to that Tameva Sharanam Gacha. Surrender unto him. Sarva Bhavena Bharata, with love. Tat Prasadat Param Shanti. By his mercy, you will get Param Shanti. Then you will attain the permanent position. Sthanam Shashvatam Abhyayam. Okay? Sunday there is no lecture because Shobhayatra is there. So all of you please come. Ramnami that Ram Janmabhoomi Pran Pratishtha. We are having a special program Sunday and Monday. Sunday evening, Sitaram Lakshman Shobhayatra is there in Jew Beach. And then Monday evening, the temple will be decorated and all. And then Monday evening, there will be Deep Arpan. Any questions?
Sir, that Aham Brahmastra, do you merge with the...
No. It's all nonsense.
So they say Advait.
Yeah, Advait philosophy. How can super soul and soul and are same? It's not.